finals. It would be ideal.
That would be pretty good. Otherwise, we'll have BLG versus JDG, a team kill in the semifinal, which is definitely still cool. And I'm actually looking forward to seeing it because I think the upgrade that we got from the JDG that we saw only recently to the first time out is vastly different. I think that this team has really looked better and better throughout the tournament. And here we are into the HyperX Champion Select. And we have Pantheon and the Rumble both taken away, as there is a Jarvan being gotten rid of there, as well as, let's just do a bit of a name check. Okay. We're okay. We're okay in this one.
Yes. As
LYON will be taking away that job. And we'll see what the next ban is going to be.
This is actually the perfectly aligned champ select graphic for what our old expectations would be.
I know, it's beautiful.
JDG's blue side, LYON is second pick. No
honestly,
confusion here.
Maybe LYON are my favorite team because they chose second pick to guarantee that everything is normal.
Thank you.
And that is just beautiful. I did love, you mentioned it already, the Tabe interview yesterday. Yeah. He has gotten so eloquent. He was using some really big words. I was extraordinarily impressed, but it was what he was saying that I think was the most important, as I really did like the conversation about squares.
Yeah, well, I'm going to move past drafting for triangles or drafting for squares.
Why? I love shapes.
What I heard from the interview was that JDG, when they were struggling, was trying to really sync up support jungle. But when they found their footing and made it to second seed in the LPL, they were literally just slamming whatever bottom lane would be most powerful, so GALA and Vampire could just run the game and then open things up from there. However, losing to JunJia, who can just win every lane, made him reconsider it. But I would still say that generally speaking, this tournament, aside from the JunJia games, has pretty much been dominated by whoever can get the stronger bot lane. And without Karma being banned, I get a little bit concerned. So what LYON has done is they banned the Ezreal Karma combo, left Orianna up. They get the first pick Orianna, and I wouldn't be shocked if Berserker Isles have something else they would like to play with Karma.
You could, because they banned the Jarvan as well, you could just slam Siva Karma and just have the really go fast bottom lane, which does work very well in lane as well because you have infinite wave clear. You basically get a free pass down there, which wouldn't be a bad thing. And then Berserker can certainly get some carrying done in the later stages. Varus also teams up with Karma relatively well, but it's a little bit of a different story. Is Inspired going to hover the Nidalee, obviously?
We'll see. Ash Seraphine has been getting a lot of game one play as well, but I remember yesterday Ash Seraphine into Ezreal Karma was very winning for Ezreal Karma, but what LYON has done here is something they did all throughout LCS playoffs where they'll do a control mage trade. They would often do Orianna or Azir, but they make sure they control the Nocturne. Because then anytime there's a side lane, Inspired can swing that matchup with either the Azir or the Orianna on his side. But with the Orianna nerfs, I'm not sure if Saint would still prioritize the Azir on 3, and not surprised if they lock in the Karma. I'm a little bit surprised that LYON didn't pick it early.
Yeah, this is the thing though, because we've seen Siva picked into Varus all the time, and now they get access to the Karma instead. I wouldn't be surprised if this was just a full bottom lane lock-in for JDG with the most coveted mid laner on the patch on top of it, outside of the Rise, which is just a little bit ridiculous at the moment. But as far as what was available, I really do like it. If that is what they go with instead, it will be the Xin Zhao as the option into the Nocturne. So dodging the Siva, but we'll still have to deal with that from JunJia, certainly one of his favorite champions.
Yeah, game one of Fearless, so still a lot of AD carries up. They're not going to be worried about whatever bans LYON can throw at them and would rather just secure what may be the strongest jungler here at the tournament, aside from Pantheon. It's tricky to say with Pantheon being banned, but we've seen some exceptional games from Xin so far here, and it is actually the Galio that they decide to throw into the Orianna. It's definitely a little bit more all-in and a little bit weaker directly in lane, but can still be really potent in team fights.
But the thing that I love about it is we're representing double globals already, right? Yeah. Being able to cheat around the map, I think, is really important when you're against a team that is really, really good at playing around tempo markers, Jatt. Oh, no. JDG, very, very good at it. That one's for Vedius. Shout out to you, Betty. It's all right. Already, the Sivir has been banned away. A bit of a no-brainer there. And the Bard also taken away from Isles this time around. See what else they have in store here is, of course, could be some more support focus here on the side of JDG.
Now I'm thinking about trying to make tempo markers a real term again.
No, we can't.
You've really done it?
We're not allowed to do it. I just had to throw in one. I've got it out of my system. We were talking about it before, the shake your sillies out. Well, that's what I'm trying to do.
Tempo markers is not a real term.
No, it's not.
It could be. It could be.
It's very, very silly. Jin is going to be taken away, though.
Oh, no. Hey, buddy.
That's not very nice.
That's rude.
He's like, okay.
I was kidding.
It's okay. You're allowed to take it back. That's absolutely fine. One last ban here from JDG.
Was he making eye contact with Dhokla?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, are we in-house for some reason? I was like, hang on a second. No, I don't think we are.
No, he can't hear us.
No. All right.
Okay, Sivir Jin, 2 logical bans against the Karma. Those are 2 very popular
I think the Rakan ban is really smart because Rakan Galio has been like a really good gargoyle delivery system, but this is the Nautilus, and I really hope, because Nautilus is often picked alongside an on-hit style of Varus, I'd much prefer to see that rather than the poke Varus that we've seen just kind of lose over and over again.
Well, I don't think you're going to get it, but we'll see. And even though Isles' Nautilus looked like one of his better champions so far at first stand, the Neeko will give them a stronger laning phase. I think it is still, even though they have the globals, which is something that can punish pushing lanes, I do think it's really important to try and match the push that JDG can get with this Karma and now Yunara. I think it's going to be tough, though. I think Karma Yunara is going to be able to get the push. And trap card, Varus can go top now. This is what they did in the LCS playoffs into Morgan. So they can be picking, they can do a Kai'Sa Neeko and throw the Varus top.
That would be a lot of fun. I mean, Kai'Sa fits into this composition incredibly well. Are they going to pull the trigger? You can see the camera is on Dhokla now.
This is exactly what they did in LCS playoffs in their 3-1 over team. Look, they opt against it. They opt against it.
The dream isn't dead. It could be AD carry Gnar, Jatt.
I think that was a pretty good angle for Kai'Sa Neeko, but they're going to go more standard here. Get both Renekton and Gnar. Gnar is still considered an answer pick into Renekton. I don't necessarily know if it's a counter pick.
I think if you have really good Naba management as well, it can be another really good way to get Galio into the mix. And already I do feel like this is a really robust composition out of LYON. They can snap their fingers, go for a dive, and Berserker is long enough range to be able to follow up on a whole lot of different things. I think it's the fact that GALA now has access to Inspire shields, so much extra movement speed, things like this. I think this Yunara could certainly become a gigantic problem, especially behind something like a Renekton, which can really just make things problematic in the mid-game.
Yeah, really interesting Game 1 draft, especially letting Karma through and Orianna through, and then actually JDG getting both of them. So can't say that wouldn't have been intentional by LYON, but it's definitely quite risky. Overall, JDG does have a lot of strong champions, but their actual hard engage is relatively low. They're kind of dealing with Renekton stun or Shockwave, but in Tabe we trust. If you're a JDG supporter, getting a lot of the power picks on the patch here in Game 1.
Yep. In Tabe we trust has been a line for quite a while. I believe IG have not been trusting Tabe.
Ever since 2015.
Ever since 2015. But everyone else pretty happy to get behind him because he has found a whole lot of success on a whole lot of different teams. As ladies and gentlemen, it is time for us to get onto the Rift for JDG versus LYON. Who is going to be heading towards the semifinals and who is going home? That is going to be the question here as we are onto the Rift for Game 1.
And it looks like JDG very early on getting a Raptor ward as well as warding their own Raptors. So Inspired has tried to sneak in for some counter jungling. We've actually seen a couple mid laners die or nearly die going for that Raptor ward. Saint put a defensive ward, and now JunJia and Inspired are going to run into each other. This is not good for Inspired.
I would say not as well, as JunJia is just going to go over and just make sure that he is not hitting this.
Oh, interesting.
Still, I mean, if Inspired sticks around,
I mean, Nocturne level 1 is very strong, and if Galio can move first, depending on how long this goes, Inspired played this really patiently. We'll see, though. It really will depend on the smite.
Well, vision control certainly going to be there on both sides, but not in that brush.
Yeah, and JunJia's out of wards, so he can't see this. He actually has to give it up. This is really nicely done here by Inspired, getting an early lead here on JunJia.
Yep. And remember, guys, live on patch 26.6, check out Warhound Center. A portion of the skins proceeds will be shared across the eSports teams. As Berserker, he might need a little bit of help as well, as GALA has that Q fully stacked up, and he's down to about 200 health. Saint also finding a little bit of an angle here, but he's still looking a little worse for where the Clockwork wind-up coming in, as HongQ really putting the pressure on it. In fact, there's kind of pressure on everywhere here from JDG.
When both junglers are seen completely on Raptors at the start of the game, you play incredibly aggressive. Also notice the ward that they placed in their own tri-brush. Inspired's going to try wraparound on mid, though. Saint's too low to be able to go in for CC.
Yeah, I don't think that this is going to be a successful one, as immediately over towards the Raptor camp here is Inspired.
Too slow.
We'll get the news that there is a Xin Zhao in the area, but he might be able to stop this red buff from going down, as JunJia is just going to head towards his Krugs.
Yeah, and also just a reminder, FlyQuest vs CFO had these two junglers playing against each other as well as HongQ, and it was CFO who actually kind of ended FlyQuest as we know it. And after this game, they all scattered to different corners of the earth.
Yeah, that was a pretty incredible time for CFO as well, if I remember correctly. Bit of a Cinderella story. So let's see whether some revenge can be claimed here by Inspired.
I mean, very abnormal early jungle pathing here. Inspired getting slightly the better of it, although the Raptor camp will be faster to respawn for the side of JDG. And I would say, aside from the jungle stuff, the Galio and the Varus Neeko are just getting kicked in.
It's a little bit of a ball-pinning, isn't it?
Yes,
we
absolutely.
Could, go with something like that, as Saint actually realizes that he has to stick around. The Winds of War will deter HongQ from staying around for too much longer, but I mean, this is a free lane for the Orianna, and that can be really dangerous. Come the mid-game, as Dhokla is going to get closed in on here by Xiaoxu. The Renekton, I mean, so many times we talk about the Gnar being a great pick into the Renekton, but I think at around this time, if you can close the distance and you're mini Gnar, the Renekton can really get some work done.
The matchup is Renekton favored until the Gnar can get Tobbies, or the plated steel caps, as the plated steel caps, indeed. Yeah, so Dhokla wants to be able to stick around until he has enough to purchase that item. With the way the junglers have been completely shown, he knows he's going to be completely on his own. And here's the Raptor respawn, Inspired with the level advantage. Hasn't chopped, neither has Xin.
I've seen this one before, as this time there is vision for JunJia. Level 3 to level 4, though. I mean, this is dangerous times. And Inspired goes in, does manage to get the steal once again. Will now be going back. Well, maybe he could grab that scuttle before he goes home, but instead, just going to immediately reset.
Yeah, I think it's more important that he gets back on the map for the temple marker to collect one. And then now that he has the 3 items as well.
I feel like I've infected you. It's fantastic.
It can work.
All right, Slurkle goes out. You don't need to join me on that one. But that one will never die. I don't even know what it's called otherwise.
Is it a slowing circle? Is that why you call it a...
Yeah, it's a slow circle.
Okay, cool.
Circle that slows. There are a few other variations depending on what the circle does, but we won't need to go into it. As Isle's in a little bit of trouble here. Does take some damage from Vampire, but isn't too worried. And Berserker is sitting at full health, has this full wave to pick up for himself as well. So even though the CS numbers don't look so great here for Berserker versus GALA, it will be evening out quite well as this wave is slurped up.
Yeah, these lanes are very aggressive for JDG. It's pretty common as well, whether or not there were jungle shenanigans going on. The pre-level 6 Nocturne's not going to be applying any pressure anyways, but what this has done, what Inspired has been able to accomplish by keeping the Xin down is any of these lanes that are extremely low, there at least is no threat of dive. So Berserker's been able to keep his CS close, Saint's down 10, Dhokla's down, was 11, now 9. So they at least haven't been dove yet.
Yeah, there's the Slurkle value coming on through there as the flash in from GALA, unable to take down Isles here. And getting the Yunara flash, actually a huge deal, as meanwhile, JunJia taking a lot of damage. As Saint and Inspired trying to lock down that kill. No level 6 here for the Nocturne, though. Unable to get any follow-up, but still, it is Inspired with that advantage, the only one on LYON with one.
Yeah, he had a dagger up on JunJia and then also pushes him off that crab, which was a delayed take. Now he can go clear his entire blue side of the jungle, maybe even hit level 6. So really strong early game by Inspired, which is kind of saving the 3 lanes that are all soft losing right now for LYON, even though none of them have died.
Yeah, I do feel like the Galio losing lane is not something that you're going to be all that worried about, right? No. Galio is never really going to have a great time into the Orianna. What you want to play for is utilizing that global presence throughout this mid-game and possibly getting some pressure on these dragons. Because, of course, if they start up the dragon, Saint can always be there in the nick of time, even if he is still hanging out in that mid lane. And trying to get some control on these Drakes, I think, could be a good idea, given the fact that JDG's composition looks pretty robust as it scales towards the later stages.
Yep, and it gets more difficult now for the JDG bottom lane to play as aggressive. You can see the control ward in the river there for Saint.
Shockwave Justice Punch was a weird combination there, as Saint should be able to get himself out, but is looking a little worse for wear. Had to rely on the phase rush there, as Xiaoxu thrown against the wall by Dhokla's Gnar.
See what Dhokla has?
Oh, he has
the plated
steel caps Ninja Tabi.
So he's more comfortable in the lane now.
Yeah. Maybe we should call it Ninja Tabi in this game because Tabe is the coach, and so it makes more sense to use it this time around.
To use a 7-year-old item name?
Yeah, I think so. As Paranoia comes on through here, and the Gargoyle delivery is attempted to come on through. As JunJia tries to take him down as Saint gets the knock-up on the Brambleback to save his life.
Saint ulting in there, that's a true teammate right there. Yeah,
LYON! And Isles is able to pick it up with the Blooming Burst! Oh, is it happening?
Berserker hit 6 and just ulted GALA, who was already down flash somehow. I think we missed when he burned the flash aggressively going for a kill.
Yeah, when they were going for the kill onto Isles earlier on, Isles gets the revenge a couple of minutes later.
Okay.
Oh, God. Okay, so what am I supposed to do here, Jatt? I want to avoid any potential caster curse, but I do want to talk about the possibility of both of our Western teams making their way out today.
So I was reading a Reddit thread earlier about how this is the most one-sided international tournament in history based on percentage of series that end in 3-0. And that technically didn't even change when G2 won against...
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that was another 3-0. So the next 3-0 actually means, in terms of percentage of 3-0s in an international, it will be the most ever.
Wow. Well, that's what we're chasing after. So it could be JDG that gives it to us. It could be LYON that gives it to us. And right now, LYON in a pretty good position as Saint absolutely fearless.
At 300 HP. He was going to reset anyway. It did help secure the kill, gets him the assist as well. And then just a max range RQ and the double pop of the Neeko Q gets him as well. So Berserker, after collecting enough CS against the Karma early, has taken the current upper hand in that bottom lane as well.
Yep, utilizing the power of Gumayushi there as well with his Varus skin. His former teammate, you could say, as of course they both came up through T1. As JunJia going to be taking down the Grubs. And JDG, I think, not too worried about the fact that there is a 1.4k gold lead, but if LYON are able to utilize this to get some momentum in this game, this composition is really good at just saying, we're going to win now with their buttons.
They have the tools to engage, whereas JDG does not. JDG's composition works very well if they push lanes and are first to set up on the objectives, because they can just push you back with Karma Qs and move speed to kite you. But if they're trying to retake space without hard CC, it's actually quite difficult for them.
Well, Paranoia comes in once more, and the shockwave does come on down. HongQ does drag back Saint, as now JunJia trying to get something. Flash out from the Gargoyle, but I don't know whether he's got... Never mind! JunJia realizing he just doesn't have the buttons.
I think he might have been able to get the kill, maybe, but didn't want to risk it, because if he goes in against that red buff Nocturne, he would have been handing a third kill over to Inspired. So punishing the no flash Orianna, Inspired has been really on point the first 10 minutes of this game.
Almost 1,000 gold in the lead. You can see that is half the advantage that LYON have right now as we tick over to 10 minutes. That is a huge deal. And the fact that he has a full item completed, I completely understand now why JunJia did not try to do anything more. As here at 10 minutes, it is going to be a relatively late Dragon, but Inspired, I don't know whether he's going to get contested on this one.
Yeah, he's not going to be getting contested, but you got to watch top for Dhokla, because JunJia's decided Dragon's not possible, but he wants to think about going for this 60% health Gnar, but Dhokla does a good job clearing the wave.
Yep.
We'll see if Xiaoxu decides to go in for a dive here.
They're actually trying to invest even more as he avoids the Wind Becomes Lightning, trying to get a little bit of value.
Galio's trying to support. Saint might be caught here.
Saint is in a little bit of trouble, but the Karma isn't going to do too much, as Gnar almost there, as Dhokla has the help of his friends and will be able to make his way out. So successful defense of the top side of the map, and they take the Dragon down. LYON ticking all the boxes.
Yeah, everyone moving up as well will mean they don't lose that mid wave. It will set Saint a little bit further behind, using his ultimate to get up there and then also taking a bunch of damage on the way up. But they do a good job getting the Dragon and covering the play to not allow this top lane to snowball out of control.
Well, Dhokla now teleporting back in, a little bit of a dangerous maneuver, but like you say, those Tabis that he picked up earlier on, helping him stay alive here in this matchup. Wants to get towards that Black Cleaver as soon as possible by the looks of things, as Saint comes on over to try and deter HongQ from doing too much more, as he does get taunted. Otherwise, not too much more to happen. And the thing that I'm looking at is the AD carry. And Berserker is ahead by a decent amount of CS, and a lot of the time, you'll see that you know, a team is winning around the map in these little skirmishes, in these little tussles, but just in the regular lane, things can be problematic. It's not happening here as Berserker is winning out, utilizing the power of this Varus, and now has the Ghost Blade completed as well, and also completes his quest. We'll be able to get that one done a little bit earlier.
Yep. So temporary gold lead jump, but that'll be equalized a bit when GALA completes the quest of his own. Just a lot of congestion of the vision here, but honestly, this is a difficult game for JDG to play from this point because of their overall lack of engage and the fact that, you know, the flashes do end up being kind of cycled down. Inspired misses the Q's, got to be a little careful about trying to all in. See if they can get first move from their bot lane, though.
Yep, Saint doesn't have the ulti available, so the heroic entrance has been really important defensively in a lot of these altercations. But GALA, I don't think is going to be able to walk in. The red buff. Still the idea is now Inspired looking for an opportunity. Saint, they're trying to stay spread because that shockwave is so dangerous from HongQ. But it looks like LYON are just not going to risk it and will now walk their way out of the enemy jungle.
Yeah, has to back away after JDG did a good job staying grouped up. Inspired likely wouldn't have gotten anything if he goes in other than a bounty for the opponent.
Yep.
So he's going to regret pressing that button. He loses a lot of pressure now while his ultimate is on cooldown. And it is a failed invade, so JDG wins a small battle there.
Yeah, not too bad. It will still be the heroic entrance coming back off cooldown now, though, as Saint, the couple of seconds left on that one. And I think the Gnar is out of the woods, right? As far as that top lane matchup, I think the Dhokla is going to be feeling better and better as this game goes on and should be a menace in these side lanes. Can possibly teleport in when that Mega Gnar is available. I just really feel like LYON's go buttons are really going to be helpful here. As you mentioned, lack of engage has been a little bit of a problem. Obviously, with a Karma, you can kind of just turn throwing your body at the enemy into engage, as she can make people run really quick. And so Xiaoxu slicing and dicing into a backline might be a way to do it. But I feel like their composition did rely on getting advantages early on into the game and kind of snowballing through that way, making it so that you can never approach when they walk up to an objective. That is not the game that we're seeing here. Yeah,
I will say, like you pointed out, the Mantra E from Karma, as well as the Orianna move speed, they have good disengage too. So it's fairly difficult for Inspired to just rock up, try to ult on someone, and hope that the Galio CC comes on top of it, because they're probably moving away with their move speed anyway. But it does just give them comparatively more tools than JDG have to engage. Both comps are actually fairly low engage, which makes the initial setup all the more important. And the control wards, like the one Berserker is sitting on right now, extremely valuable, because that's how you could actually get an engage, is when the other team tries to check spots like that where they don't have vision.
I do like Missile Nocturne engage. That is one of my favorites, and that does put the ball into Inspired's hands. And we know that LYON does like to play around where their jungler is looking. So see whether that is what they're going to look for further into this game, as Vampire is towards that top side of the map. And it looks like Dhokla is not going to be too worried about it. Only 74 gold between our top laners. And that is the only advantage, however small, that JDG do have on this map right now.
Pretty slow game. I mean, the fact that he's 2-0 with dealing only 2,200 damage, right? That means the fights that he's taken, he's generally killed the ones that he's been able to start. So another thing that we need to track about LYON when they have advantages like this, they don't usually progress the game that quickly because they like to freeze a lot of waves. Keeping the game on their side of the map until they're willing to retake space is a pretty, it's a favorite strategy of theirs. So not that Galio can necessarily get push on the Renekton bottom lane, but they don't necessarily feel like they need to apply a lot of side lane pressure. They're more about stacking these Drakes and making sure their gold lead gets as large as possible.
Well, LYON are going to be able to grab Double Dragon in this game. The two Tech Drakes going to be picked up, see what the soul is going to be. And it's a Cloud, finally. I feel like we've been denied Cloud souls this whole tournament.
I'm so happy it's a Cloud soul. That's the best. It's just a fast Drake is fun, right?
Exactly. We've been talking as well about JDG with their mantras and stuff like that. Imagine if they stacked up 4 Clouds as well.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Mantra Inspire as well as the Dissonance and all that sort of stuff. Man, they'd be running real quick.
This game is still really close.
It is.
By the way. It was an exceptional start by Inspired, but the game has definitely stalled out a fair bit. Now, all the quests have been completed across the board, so this is where we're sitting. It's 1,500 gold, even in mid, even in top. The advantage is mostly on the Nocturne, who currently doesn't have a meaningful advantage over JunJia if you just look at the items. So LYON has to continue to play smart League of Legends.
I do think that if they keep stacking up these Drakes, right, you can play it relatively slow, because if, you know, the shoe's on the other foot, I was talking about how fun it would be to have a whole bunch of movement speed and things like this for JDG, but if LYON has it, I mean, they can start fights anytime. Speaking of which, as we're checking out the Coinbase gold grind, we have a flash coming out from Vampire to keep himself alive, and this is going to be a big problem, right? Getting wards deep into the enemy jungle is almost impossible when you're behind and you're playing an Enchanter.
For sure. I mean, that was the whole reason people didn't play Enchanters for half a decade, is they said, well, it's too hard to check for wards in the mid game. Then they removed lane swaps, so now the advantage of dominating lane outweighs the disadvantage of being a really squishy dude who dies when he tries to get vision control. So getting his flash, I understand. I think it's a smart play there by Inspired. Anyone he ulted, he's probably not going to kill because they all have flash, but the highest chance of a repeat kill is likely on Vampire.
Yep. And it's interesting that the enchanters that we do see all have an ability to speed themselves up.
Yeah, or like Neeko, Nami, she Lulu, splits into two.
Karma, yeah, or be Neeko and be annoying. And that is a decent way to do it as well. As all right. Still 1.3k. This is like where I start to get a little bit worried, because extending gold advantages is generally something that you want to do as Isles. He's going to do exactly that. Finds a snare on a Vampire as well, and if at first you don't succeed, grab the flash and try again.
That guy's no flash.
Yeah, he's dead.
Karma no flash. Kill
Still
it.
No flash. They could do it again.
they have 5 minutes from the first flash to try it again, which is really nice. I mean, you said this is the point where you get worried. My secret here is that I'm always worried whenever I'm watching a LYON game or an LCS game, an international event. It's never safe until it's over. Just keep that in mind.
I'll keep it in mind.
There's never do one of those, oh, now it's going to be an insurmountable lead, or surely with the Cloud Drake they can... No, it'll be over when the Nexus falls.
And this is also the closest thing to an OPL game that we've got as well, which is harkening back to my past.
Is it because there's one Australian player?
Yes.
And one Australian caster?
Yeah. And Isles also played on Legacy.
I think Dhokla played in Australia.
Yeah, and Dhokla was in Australia for a little bit, I'm pretty sure. Although that was after my time. But we've got a paranoia towards this top side of the map as Inspired just going in. We'll be able to get the flash out, and flashes after HongQ as well, and he should be able to grab this kill. The Gargoyle's so late on this play, but it does not matter. Inspired going to be able to grab HongQ here, and they should be able to get some extra push towards this top side.
Saint is assist maxing. Berserker threw out his ultimate there, actually. Was hoping to burn his cleanse, ends up just being no ultimate. I think that Saint will be able to collect the gold from that first turret of the game up top as well. So Inspired continuing to progress the game, getting flash and trading his own flash for the kill, definitely worth it.
Yep, and those nerves that I had kind of dissipating, Jatt, because they are making plays. No. They can't be in side lanes. And Dhokla is going to continue to get more and more aggressive here, has his Trinity Force now completed. And man, I'm just feeling like it could be okay.
It's the power of the Nocturne. When LYON, this is much more the LYON that qualified for first stand in the LCS playoffs, because I'd say their series that they played earlier against Loud that went to 5 games, as well as the demolition that they experienced at JunJia, that looked a lot more like the things that they were struggling with during the lock-in regular season, when they were dropping a lot of games, lost a best-of-3 to Disguised. So Saint's been really inconsistent, but when they play with the lead, they generally have been very solid.
Yeah.
Generally very solid. Not to say that this means they're going to win this game, Atlus.
No. No. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm not allowing Caster Curses to reach in and ruin everything. I'm going to try and just assume that Chronicler was right and Caster Curses are not real. Even though, as we know, objectively, they absolutely are. And he was just silly. As let's have a look at here. The win probability looking pretty good for LYON. This would be where the Caster Curse would come through.
What a nice graphic.
Great graphic here.
Like that.
It's a very good graphic.
JDG's finally retaken the river. This would be their point of power to play off of. LYON, I'd say, has had control of this bush for 85% of the game.
Yep. Soul Point now available as well. As Isles being a little bit tricky here. Remember, if JDG get control of this pit, it doesn't actually matter. LYON can always get in, you know?
True.
They throw an Inspired. They get Saint in on top, as now Xiaoxu possibly in a little bit of trouble, has to flash immediately. And they can follow, as we just explained. And the Renekton will be taken down. Now JDG, no right to be in this area. As already LYON on this dragon, looking for that soul point. Be able to get a whole lot of extra movement speed.
You can say JDG really wants to contest this anyway. They're kind of tired of sitting on 0 kills, but very risky here. Inspired, though, no flash on the flank. We'll have to run away.
Yeah. The clone of Inspired running away as well, so that is making me feel like perhaps it isn't him.
I think I was fooled. I think that was the clone of Inspired.
Yeah. No. I think Nocturne did get LeBlanc's passive at one point. I think you haven't been reading the patch notes.
True.
I know that because you told me that you weren't reading as many patch notes.
No, I read them. I just can't retain the information anymore.
Yeah, so you didn't retain the fact that Nocturne got deceived from LeBlanc.
Understood.
Yeah. Or it might just be that it was Isles the whole time. I'm not entirely sure.
The nice thing that they did there is they just waited for Dhokla. So he got Gnar to kill the Renekton, and then they waited until he had Gnar again
and to
take the Drake.
Yep.
So they're patient.
Honestly,
patient.
this is meticulous. Like, just destruction of JDG's stuff in this game. They're not giving them an opening. And it's disciplined League of Legends. It's kind of
is it now?
Beautiful to watch. As Isles, see, disciplined flash.
Good.
Gets him out of there.
Good.
That's on brand. That's still there.
Yeah. For a second, you thought maybe Inspired was picked out. But then he turned into Neeko, and we knew it was Neeko.
You know it's only 1 turret away from a perfect game?
This is a no flash Renekton.
Well, it might be a no life Renekton as well, as Dhokla is going to dive on forward at the same time. There is dominance running, but it is still a very scared Crocodile, and Dhokla is going to be able to grab that kill. Playing through these side lanes, it looks absolutely beautiful here. It's 3-0-3 for Inspired on this Nocturne.
Things are looking good.
They are looking really good. Are we still worried, Jatt?
Yes. One team fight. With all those bounties, you never know.
You're right. Well, JunJia could be in a little bit of trouble himself as Saint. They're going to try and turn it on top of him. Pop Blossom, though, is going to look for GALA, who flashes out of the way. JunJia, though, now by himself as Dhokla wants to find an angle at the same time as Vampire should be able to get that snare to work out. But JDG, once again, are on the run.
Nice repel there by LYON, and you do the summoner check. See that they have burned flashes on jungle, bot, support. Inspired's ultimate 3/4 of the way back up, so this is a very good cooldown for them to play around for the next Baron or the next Drake.
Oh my goodness. Only good things here for LYON at this point in the game. 4,000 gold is their advantage, but the thing that's the most important to me is the fact that they've had a monopoly on these objectives. Outside of the Grubs that did go over to JDG, it is looking absolutely fantastic here for LYON. And Grubs don't really matter if you never get to approach turrets.
Yeah.
Which is kind of looking like the situation here.
Who needs them?
Yeah.
Not LYON. Yet.
LYON got 1 game at least. Well, they don't. Not yet.
What are you doing?
That is getting ahead of themselves.
It's 4,000 gold. Calm down.
I'm just reading what's on the screen, okay? Not my fault. Okay. 4,000, still the lead.
No flash in? Nah, that would be bad.
Yeah, let's not fight against that guy, although he is going to try and fight them. Isles looking for that opportunity as Paranoia does come in, teleport. Yeah, brings the Crocodile forward.
I mean, that's just a good map play right there. They use the Nocturne ult to disengage. That means Dhokla can continue to push down the bottom lane with Trinity Force. He kills that turret very quickly. Very, very disciplined League of Legends right there. Inspired's going to keep clearing his jungle and knows that JDG used their turn right there, so the tempo marker means he can keep farming in the jungle.
Absolutely beautifully done. All right, Crystalline Overgrowth, just hit the turret 1 time, and it'll go pop.
No, that's not going to kill the whole turret.
No. The plate though. Look at the plate.
I know. It's not worth
you didn't even
risking
need
the game over that plate. There was...
You are worried, aren't you?
Well, I want to tell a joke, but I don't think I have time, because JDG might be panic engaging at this turret.
Well, HongQ is certainly looking for a bit of an angle. Dash cannon in for the Orianna. But no, never mind.
There was this TikTok that the LCS had where Inspired had these teamfight comms where he said, keep waiting, keep waiting, keep waiting.
Okay.
But they just looped it over like a 30-second fight, his comms, as if he was just saying that for 30 seconds. I do feel like he's probably said, like, keep
we
waiting.
We could bring up the comms and maybe it would just be that.
Just wait, we scale, like, for 25 minutes. Because just wait for my ultimate, just wait for me, over and over.
Do we agree with him?
It's working pretty well so far.
I know it absolutely is, but I think that they are still like extending this gold advantage in a beautiful way.
They are waiting for Inspired's ultimate every time.
They are definitely waiting. I think if they wait too long, there could be like a 7-item Yunara,
there could be trouble eventually.
So let's keep fighting in good positions.
Yeah, well, they're currently pushing this bot wave. I do want them to retake this space. Isles has no flash for a few more seconds. That was rather scary. Burns his heal for the move speed. They're just trying to get all the waves pushed and force JDG to respond. But if JDG really wanted to overcommit on this Drake, this would be the one to do so.
And that was the perfect time to get a kill as well. 20 seconds until this dragon is up and available. Thankfully for Isles, he's able to get himself out of there and holds onto the flash. Most importantly, Flash Pop Blossom going to be a big thing in this upcoming fight. And LYON as well, they have the poke advantage on top of everything. They have the engage advantage and poke advantage.
Yeah, and poke Varus, and no way to engage on the poke Varus unless he walks too deep. But yeah, they're all in on this because it is difficult for LYON to actually walk in here.
Well, they don't even have to, right? It is one Cloud Drake. You don't need to worry about it, but still, they are going to look for a fight. As in goes Inspired, already down to 50% though, and he flashes to try and get himself out of the way. It is going to be the Drake secured by JDG, and they take down the Nocturne. The Varus already dead as well, as LYON are running away. Dhokla flashing out of the back, but it should be JunJia falling down as never mind. He's as in Zhao. He's basically immortal, and this could be the end of the advantage for LYON as JDG just wandered towards the Baron.
It's an absolute domination by JDG in that fight. We've been talking this whole game about how JDG needs to be first on the objective. And they are first on the objective, and surprisingly, the impatience of LYON goes in here. Inspired wants to get the soul, does basically nothing with his original ultimate, almost dies, loses the smite. And at this point, the fight's to watch because they are inside the team of JDG. Renekton gets the perfect flank to shut down Berserker, and because of all of the bounties, as well as objective bounties, the game is just slingshotted back into, I believe it's going to be a gold lead when we come out of this replay for JDG.
No, it should be, as long as they've locked down this Baron. And if it's not a gold lead yet, it certainly will be soon. As the Rebel Baron power play sitting at 1,000 so far, but still with 2.5 minutes left to go.
You understand why I was nervous.
Yes, I do. Yeah. I was going to say that, but I felt like it wasn't the right moment.
No, it wasn't the moment. And I needed to be excited for the overall energy of the game. But inside, I'm dying.
It is still Soul Point, right? Yeah. And LYON lost a Cloud Dragon. Baron doesn't give as much as it used to. It's not over just yet. Correct. However, this is certainly, as you can see there with the gold difference, it's not looking phenomenal.
How's that win probability looking?
The win probability, I would assume, is moving
back to also being close.
Yeah. Although equalization,
3 Drakes to 2, LYON would still be advantaged based off that, or maybe not anymore.
It could be a wave, you know, it might undulate back the direction of LYON afterwards. We'll just have to see as Paranoia does come down, thinking that they might have found a Crocodile. And he is going to get a little bit frightened. Does get slowed up there as well. Pop Blossom invested to try and take him down as, my God, the damage! And going 1-for-1 is not what LYON was looking for as JDG with that Baron pushing up the bottom lane.
Yep, they needed to get that kill to have a numbers advantage to defend this turret, but now they are just hoping to trade for inhibitor turrets because this inhibitor is done for as Dhokla tries to take it on the other side.
Yep, Dhokla will be able to get that inhibitor turret on the other side of the map, so there is at least that, but he may not be able to get the inhibitor. Oh my goodness, that is okay, that's the Neeko. I thought it might have been the clone, but it was not. That was just Isles falling down as Nexus turret number 1 is going to get taken. There is a Mega Gnar here for Dhokla, but he's losing his health so quickly because GALA has a few items put together and he is so scary in this game. Saint goes golden though, and there's a hail of arrows. JunJia is still alive. They're just going to kill the Nexus, and JDG just went from losing this game to winning in the blink of an eye.
Sub 30-minute win for JDG. Where's that fan sign? In Tabe we trust.
Yep.
Pick the Karma, pick the Orianna, just have some patience. Your time will come.